Imagine fresh fruit, canned fruit, fruit juice, and candy fruit all stored together in one and the same place, just because they happen to be made of fruit. That is exactly how a lot of us organize our digital files, keeping all photos in one giant bin, all your notes in one endless list, and all your downloads accumulated in a folder that never gets cleared out until it has to be. From this book, I learned there's a better way to manage what we know and keep our projects flowing from imagination to execution in one flexible system that can suit your specific needs. And this isn't some futuristic alien technology. It's simply a system that utilizes all aspects of our capabilities in the 21st century. Tiago Forte, one of the foremost thinkers on productivity, reveals two key frameworks in his book, Building a Second Brain. He has taught this to hundreds of students before in his live cohort classes that will set you back about as much as a decent new camera. And now you can get the refined thoughts on personal knowledge management all bundled in a book for less than a roll of gaff tape. But what even is a second brain? Very simply put, it is a digital note-taking system. And the two key frameworks he developed are called Para and Code. Where Para is the second brain's organization structure that allows you to always know where things go. And it stands for projects, areas, resources, archives. Projects are everything you work on that has a definitive end date and a clear outcome. Something like your next video or podcast episode. Areas are broader categories in life that always need to be managed, but don't have a final destination. Your finances, for example, or your channel strategy. Resources are a catch-all for anything that isn't actionable right now and doesn't belong to a particular area or project, like an interesting article on the 4-day workweek, or a tweet how a particular YouTuber doubled his subscriber count. And the archive is obviously where everything goes from the above that is no longer active. But Para isn't a filing system, it's a production system that allows everything in it to stay actionable. And that is where Code comes in, which stands for Capture, Organize, Distill, Express. And this is the way all the information flows through your second brain from input to output. Now that we have a basic understanding of what a second brain can be, let's talk a little bit about the book. I picked up this book because I need a system to help me organize my thoughts and my ideas, everything that I take in. The course is not for me, but this book very much is. It is the distilled knowledge of everything that he has been teaching other people and putting them on a couple hundred pages. I read this in like a little bit more than a week, which is like super fast for me. And it is the first book legitimately that I've ever summarized, where I've taken highlights and notes and like captured all of this afterwards. So basically, I've put to the test immediately what is written in here. What I have always struggled with is I have too many ideas that I could possibly do in a lifetime. The problem where I really struggle is that once I commit to an idea, I see like all the possibilities. I see so many ways I could make this into something. All the potentials unfold. And that very often kind of stops me in my tracks. And I get a little bit overwhelmed and I stop pursuing that video. What I've learned from this little book here is the concept of divergence and convergence. That concept alone in here really made me understand what's going on. For the longest time, I thought I'm the odd one out. I'm just the weirdo who like sees infinite possibilities. But I guess I'm not really that odd one out. It just showed me that there is a phase where you are allowed to like put anything on the page. Just lay out as many paths as there are, as you can see, as you can imagine. But then once you have this all in a totally unstructured way, there is a point where you can whittle it down, where you can distill all those possibilities into one story that you want to tell, into one product that you want to make. Not that I haven't done that before, but there's always this guilt that sits around.
What if I had it done the other way?
What I've learned thanks to this book is that none of the things I don't use are lost. All of those things are still there for me to explore at a later time, in a different project. The thing is, when you have an idea, is the worst time to categorize it, to know what it's going to be useful for. Only once you know what a project will be, the things become clearer that are useful to it. And that's where this like 4-step process comes really in, with having things dedicated to a project where you know, okay, this belongs here and this is where it goes. But then you have your resources and maybe also your archive that you can pull from. I think we all know this, like when you're in a conversation and you say like, oh, I've heard something, but I don't remember where it came from. Like for me, that recently happened, whereas like, I know I've seen a video of MKBHD talking about shorts and how he wishes he had put them on his main channel and not made a separate channel. But I can't find that quote anymore, and it like really bugs me because it would be such a nice clip to have to share with people. And on that note, there's also 2 really practical examples of things I've learned from this book that I wouldn't have done without it. So every YouTube video has a transcribe feature. So you can click this little button and a window pops up and you see all the text. That is huge, especially for like long podcast episodes when you're trying to find a certain section and you can highlight it and it takes you to there. And I was not aware of this function at all. And the other one is very similar, where there's podcast apps that transcribe what you listen to. And boy, have I been waiting for this for like a decade plus. If past me would have highlights from podcasts, I could fill a whole book with that, like legit. And I've only started highlighting stuff like a week ago. So yeah, can't wait to see what comes of having this possibility available to me. I just loved how actionable this book is. Like everything you read in here, you can immediately put into practice. And that is not often the case with business books, with nonfiction books. Like it very often takes some time to develop these systems. And the other thing I love is that it wholeheartedly says towards the end, use whatever works for you and alter the rest. Where so many other, particularly business books, say, do this or else you will fail. And having this line in here that like gives you permission to adapt this to however your brain works, that just really made me appreciate this so much more. So if you are a content creator or anybody doing creative projects, definitely check it out. I can highly recommend it. Because once you apply some of these concepts, you create a scaffolding for yourself that allows you to create work that is already 80% done. And think about all the possibilities that would allow you to have. If you want to know more about the concept, there is so many videos from Tiago himself here on YouTube and many other YouTubers, so dig in. But a well-written book is always the best option, in my opinion, to get into the minds of other great thinkers. And remember, everything not shared will be lost forever. So make sure to share this video with another creative that you know who needs some kind of structure in their life. And with that, I'll see you in the future.